start it right now. When I say Elon Musk, do you think of a violent criminal or an extremely successful entrepreneur and inventor? Hopefully, you think of the latter. However, some in our society might say that because Elon Musk is an avid video gamer, he's going to be more susceptible to a violent lifestyle and he's going to be socially awkward or even depressed. And I'm here today to tell you that that is completely wrong. A lot of people saying that video games cause kids to act more violent in their life. Well, according to Chris Ferguson, a Stenson University psychology professor and expert in video game violence, he says that there is clearly no evidence to suggest that violent video games, violent movies, or even violent television contribute to violent crime. Oftentimes, when something bad happens in our society, people like to look at the root or the base of the problem. What made these people act this way? What made a school shooter act the way he is? What made a terrorist blow up a building? Well, according to Chris Ferguson, school shooters are 3 times less likely to play video games than the average male student. Now, I'm not saying that means that if you don't play video games, you're going to be a school shooter. But what I am saying is that there is no direct correlation between violent video games and how someone violently acts in real life. A second argument people like to make against video games is that they rot your brain. My parents loved to tell me that when I was growing up. They would tell me to go read a book or go play outside, just do anything else than play video games. They obviously didn't know about the Max Planck Institute University for Human Development study that they did. A group of 23 adults with a median age of 24 years old were told to play Super Mario 64 for 30 minutes a day, compared to another group of 23 adults that did nothing during the 30-minute time period. In the group that did play Super Mario, there was an increase in gray matter in their brain. Gray matter is responsible for spatial orientation, memory formation, strategic planning, and even fine motor skills. This means that there is no denying that it is better to play video games than to do nothing at all. Now again, I'm not saying that if you play video games you will become some genius, but what I am saying is that there is positives, especially in your education and in your mind growth. The final argument I will discuss today is the argument that kids play video games are often more susceptible to social awkwardness or such mental illnesses as depression. Depression is nothing to take lightly, and I don't mean to bring jokes to it. But I am saying that in New Zealand in 2012, researchers created a game called Sparks. Sparks was an interactive game that helped kids with depression create avatars to defeat bosses in different levels. These bosses were situations that would make kids sad or feel uncomfortable. The Sparks Institute did a research with 168 kids in the study. Half played Sparks and half went on one-on-one conversations with social workers. In the group that did play the game, 44% of the students were helped to overcome depression, compared to the 26% that went on one-on-one social work therapy sessions. The numbers don't lie. This study is such a breakthrough in the positive video game elements that can have, especially on such terrible mental illnesses such as depression. Our society puts too negative of a view on video games and the supposed damaging effects that they can have on their players. After doing my research, I found that there is no direct correlation between violence and violence in real life. I also found that playing video games can grow your brain, and I finally found that video games can help with kids' mental illnesses such as depression. We need to get more informed about video games and stop putting a bad light on them.